Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and today we're talking about ratings, recommendations, good versus great, and the most common score I give on this channel. Now, apologies if I ramble a bit as I go through this video. More often than not, most of the time, I walk into most videos with a little piece of paper attached to the camera that has the main bullet points I'm trying to hit. The things I like, don't like, and see others not liking. The general train of thought I'm trying to follow as I go through this video, and I don't have any of that today. Which means generally when I try that, the video goes one of two ways. Either I get halfway through the video and I scrap it because I've been all over the place and there's no cohesive train of thought, and sometimes I actually manage to deliver an actual conversation, so we'll see which day today is. The most common score I give on this channel is a 3.5. A 3.5 out of 5, and all my scores have meanings. They all have a specific meaning because a number to me is just a number. I want the number to mean something. Similar to the way Board Game Geek over on their rating system, they have each one have a meaning, and I don't have the same meanings, nor do I have the same scale. I have a 5-point scale with 0.5. It's a whole different conversation as to why we have that instead of just a 10-point scale. There's a reason. There's a whole backstory as to why, and I'm still keeping that system. But the most common rating I give on this channel is a 3.5. And the 3.5 is a very specific meaning to it. The meaning of a 3.5 is a game that I enjoyed. I kind of want to keep it and want to play it more and want to enjoy it more, but also not enough compared to other games. It is a good game. It is a genuinely good game that I enjoyed playing. But there's better games out there. There are so many better games out there, and it's a 3.5 out of 5. Or 7 out of 10 if you want to equate to that scale. And the scales do equate. There is a reason I have the 5-point scale. I had a comment a few weeks ago, but somebody who said they were new to my channel, they had watched like 8 reviews, and all of them had me giving the game a 3.5 out of 5. And I was like, that makes sense. That is my most common rating. A 3.5 is my most common rating. I don't have the pure stats on this. I should actually get them, but I don't have them right now. But as far as the overall numbers on my channel, a 3.5 is probably 60 to 65% of my videos are a 3.5 out of 5. A large majority, 2/3 of the games I review are a 3.5 out of 5, maybe even 3/4, because most games are good, or at least most games that I cover on the channel are good. I say no to many games on a regular basis that don't look good, that don't appeal to me, that don't feel like they have the something behind them, whether the something is a designer, a company, or even just the way the game looks or feels. They don't have what it takes to have me interested enough. And so many games just never get played from there. And then from there, when I play games, there are games that I love, there are games that I like, and then there are games that are just not that great, and those usually don't get a second play. More often than not, if you want to see the things that are rated below a 3.5, you're going to have to find them in roundup reviews where I can't be bothered to give time, effort, and energy to a game that just isn't worth your attention, but I also still want to cover it because I got in the plays and I still want to talk about it. And so you'll regularly find 2.5s and 3s in roundup reviews where I cover 5, 7, 8, 9 games in a single video talking about those games, and I just don't want to spend 15 minutes telling you that this game isn't worthy of your attention that you just gave to it. The exception to this is where you have something that is hyped and buzzed and excited, and people are very interested in that game, and it's also a disappointment. That is a different conversation because there is a service, there is a reason why that review exists, because saying it a game that you expect to be good is value added to the audience, in my opinion. It is value added to you so that you can watch something that you are hoping would be an excellent experience, and I'm here to say that at least for me, it wasn't. Maybe for someone else it was, that's fine, but at least I want to give you the data point that this hyped, buzzed, excited title just wasn't something that worked for me. The problem is, that's very rare. Usually the hyped, buzzed, and excited titles are either good, very good, or great, most of the time. Sure, there are exceptions, but most of the time they fall into those categories. There are a handful of games on the channel that have gotten dedicated reviews where I was like, this is a 2.5 out of 5, this is a 2 out of 5, this is just straight up not for me. A 1 out of 5. There have been games that have been a 1 out of 5, but they are not the games that I am. They're just, they're so infrequent and they don't get a second play. They just do not get a second play, and therefore they don't get a review, period, full stop, bar none. Then there are the games. So there are the games this is where the bullet points would come in handy. So most games that are below a 3.5 are going to either be infrequent coverage or coverage in roundup videos. You will frequently watch a video of 7 reviews, and there'll be 1 3.5, 5 3s, and a 2.5 in there. That's where the more mediocre titles will show up, because random game you've never heard of that I didn't think was that great isn't worthy of 10 minutes of your time or 15 minutes of your time. It's worth 3 minutes of your time for you to get that information because you are never going to buy it anyways, or probably not going to buy it anyways. That's where the lower ratings are. And the higher ratings, they certainly exist. The 4s, they do exist. Maybe 1 out of every 6 or 7 games I play is a 4 out of 5. It's already a better experience. I'm more excited about it. Not all 4s do I keep, not all 4s do I hold on to, but 4s are good games that I really, most of them I keep, most of them I hold on to, at least for some degree of time, but I am much more excited about them. They aren't games that I kind of see many aspects that I like, and I did enjoy playing it, but I'd rather play something else. They are good games that I really want to play, and sometimes I can't because sometimes there are too many games, but I'm excited, I like them, I want the 4s. And when we shift to 4.5s, 4.5s are excellent experiences. Something holds it back from a 5 to me, but 4.5s are excellent and amazing, and 5s are just incredible. In the 4 years that I've been doing this channel, only one game that I rated a 5 left my collection from the games I rated in the past 4 years. There have been games that I rated a 5 that have left from years back, but in the 4 years of giving out ratings, I've given maybe 25 5s, something like that. I have to look at the numbers again on this, but somewhere in the range of 25 5 out of 5s, and from those, only 1 has left my collection. The other 24 are still here. I mean, I say 24 loosely. The other rest of the numbers of them are all still here because they're games that I love and they're games that I'm excited about. Which brings me back to the main point of this video, possibly the title of this video, I don't know, but a 3.5 is not a recommendation. It is an acknowledgement that the game was good. Good for me. Which means it might be great for you. It might. There are many games. I have a Carson City, which is like a 7.2 or something like that in BGG, and for me, Carson City is incredible. I love it. It's a 4.5 out of 5. It's a great experience. I think Carson City is incredible. There's Aquatica, which again, like a 7.4 on BGG, and that's a 5 out of 5 for me. The game that for somebody else is good, for me is great. And so for me, Aquatica is a strong, strong recommendation, but the overall aggregate numbers have it as a good game, like many games are good. But I don't recommend that you chase down and get good games. I recommend that you chase down and get great games. And this is where it gets more complicated, because who's great? If I give a game a 5 out of 5, I am recommending that you get it. I am recommending that you try it. I think it's an excellent experience. And yes, sometimes my taste will not match the whole. The nature of being a content creator means that you are useless as a content creator if your taste exactly matches the average out there. If my taste always perfectly aligns with BGG's average rating, you don't need me. You have BGG, just go with that. The point of being a content creator is having an opinion, having your own, how you approach games, and then building up an audience that trusts or values what you says, that either can glean the aspects that you liked or didn't like, had problems with, and then take what they want from that review for themselves, or those that just find that their opinion matches with you. There are many content creators out there who I watch, and sometimes I'm just looking for what they have to say, and other times I know that if they liked a game or didn't like a game, there's a higher chance that I will align with them because my tastes align with them. And so if you're watching my videos, if you're seeing my stuff, and if you find your taste aligns with me, then when I give a game a 5 out of 5, you should absolutely hunt it down and get it. That is a recommendation. And if I give a game a 5 out of 5, and the average BGG space has it at a low number, I recommend you watch a few other reviews. Take your time. Do your diligence. See if it's for you or not. A 5 out of 5 is just my rating and opinion. And the reverse is true as well. A game I give a 3.5 out of 5 might be your next 5 out of 5. But I'm not telling you to go get it. If anything, to me a 3.5, it's similar to Dice Tower Approved. I don't know about you, but for me at least, when I first got into the board game space, this is my own little separate journey of how I approach ratings. But when I first watched the Dice Tower videos, and they were like, Dice Tower Approved. I should have stamped harder. Dice Tower Approved. I'd go out and get the game, because Dice Tower approved that game. And so for me, that rating meant something. That meant this game was a great game that I should hunt down. They also had Dice Tower Seal of Excellence, and that was even better, but Dice Tower approved still meant that it was exciting for me. And sometimes they are. But more often than not, Dice Tower approved just means this game passes muster. This game is good enough to talk about the fact that there's aspects here that are enjoyable. There's things going on that are good here. This is a good game. Is it the next thing that's going to set your mind on fire as you desperately think through what's going on? Probably not, although maybe for some of you it will. Is this an amazing experience that we can't stop talking about? Not really. It's just a good game. And there are so many good games. A 3.5 is not a recommendation. It is not me saying I think you should get this game. And by the way, publishers watching this is the downside. Whenever I do put out a video, inherently I'm talking to the audience, but I'm also talking to the publishers within the audience who might see this video and be like, oh crap, you know. Alex just gave 4 of our games a 3.5, and that sounded great until he got in a video the next day and said, by the way, that's not actually a recommendation. And it's not a recommendation. It's not a criticism either. It's an acknowledgement that the game passes muster. The game is good. The experience was satisfying. You will not have a bad time. But not having a bad time is not the same thing as, hey, go out and buy this. There are 600 games that are worth your time, effort, and attention come out every single year. 6,000 games come out every year. 600 of them are worth your time, effort, and attention. And you can't get them all. I can't play them all. I cannot keep up. So you know what I do? I go out and get the games that people are talking about. I mean, I do things aside from being a reviewer, but separately from reviewing, I hunt down and chase down the games that I didn't get a chance to review that people are excited about. Not the ones that just exist. Existing is not enough. The ones that people are excited about, the ones that people can't stop talking about, those are the things that are worth chasing down. If I give a game a 5 out of 5, I think you should chase it down. If I give it a 4.5 out of 5, I think you should chase it down. If I give a game a 4 out of 5, there's a decent chance you should look into it and probably chase it down. And if I give it a 3.5 out of 5, you should probably skip on it unless you are particularly interested in that game for one reason or another. That happens all the time, mind you. On a regular basis, you see a game, something about it calls to you. Maybe it's a theme, an IP that you really love. Maybe you're one of the few people who's not sick of seeing Marvel everywhere, and there's a new Marvel IP out there, and it's a good game. It's a good game, but you're like, that's good enough for me because I like the Marvel IP, and so that's fine, I want to hunt it down. Maybe the art, the graphics, the components, maybe the playstyle of the game appeal to you in a way that hearing somebody else say the game is good is enough of a reason for you to say, you know what, if it's good for him, if it's good for Alex, maybe it'll be great for me, and maybe I'm willing to take that risk. A 3.5 is an acknowledgement that I had a good time playing the game. I think it's a good game. I think you will have fun playing it. You doesn't apply to every individual, it can't possibly, but for the average general person playing the game. But it's still not a recommendation. In a world full of great games, good isn't good enough. That has always been the case. And so, a question I've gotten once or twice is, if that's the case, why not lower the ratings? Why not send that message with the ratings themselves? Why not say, this game is a 5 out of 10, a 2.5 out of 5? And the answer is simple. Because it's not. It's not a 2.5 out of 5. It is not a bad experience. I didn't have a bad time. I enjoyed my time with it. A 3.5 is two things. It is my most common recommendation, my most common score, not recommendation. The entire point of this video goes out the window there. A 3.5 is my most common score, but they also represent a pile of games, a large pile of games that I recognize sadly that I have to get rid of, that I recognize sadly that I just can't hold on to. If I give a game a 3.5, it means part of me wishes I could keep it. Not the part of me that actually will keep it, but part of me wishes I can keep it, that wishes I had more time, that wishes I had a kind of TARDIS of time to play board games where I could just infinitely expand so I can play every single thing that I ever wanted to play. Then all the 3.5s would be there. The 3s wouldn't, by the way. That is the difference between a 3.5 and a 3. A 3 to me was a game that I enjoyed, but I never have that singular twinge of any way, shape, and form of, but I want to play it again. When I get rid of a 3, it means I had a good time and I don't need to touch it again. I'm fine. I've gotten my fill of it. If you ask to play it with me, I probably will, but I just don't have that twinge of wanting to play it again. A 3.5 is a good game, and it means that I have the twinge of wanting to play it again. But the twinge isn't good enough when there are great games calling my attention. If you've watched this channel over the past years, you've seen that there are times when I play a game or review a game. Often my favorite games, the 5 out of 5s. You know, I sit down and play Vindication. I touch Too Many Bones, and then before you know it, I'm rampaging through my room and culling another 5 to 10 games because I remember that they shouldn't be playing. I shouldn't be keeping and holding on to games that are just very, very, very good when there are games that are incredibly great out there. So comparison is a factor. Knowing the relative options out there is a factor, and so a 3.5 is not a recommendation. It is a score that I give to the most common type of game I play, which is a game that is good, a game that I enjoyed, a game that I wish I could continue to give time, energy, and attention to, but I won't, given the other options on the table. And that's likely true regardless of whether you're watching my channel or any other channel too. I mentioned, you know, Dice Tower approved, and that same concept exists. And I'm not speaking for the Dice Tower. I'm speaking for myself as a viewer of the Dice Tower. That similarly, if I watch Dice Tower approved nowadays, I kind of tune it out unless I already know that I'm interested. And that could be because you backed a Kickstarter that's showing up at your doorstep, and they said it's good, and so of course you're going to dive in. You'll still maintain your excitement because it's already there. It could be because of the theme, the art, the direction of the game. In some way, shape, or form, you think it might be different for you. Those things are all factors and all opportunities, and I'm not saying you shouldn't get games that are rated as being good. I'm saying you should be more particular about why you're picking those things up. And you should be using good not as a recommendation, but as the bare minimum excuse that you need to get something that you already want to get. Whether you're watching my channel or any other channel, remember that hundreds of games come out every single year. You don't have the time, you don't have the money, you don't have the shelf space to deal with all of them. And by the way, some of you have the time, some of you have the money, some of you have the shelf space. I doubt any of you have all of it. Time, more than anything else. Shelf space and money, those are commodities we can get more of, but time, it doesn't matter how rich you are. There's a limit to how much time you practically have. And so whether you're watching my channel today, tomorrow, past reviews, in the future, when you see me give a game a 3.5, please understand, and I say this on a regular basis, I just don't know if I've ever done a dedicated video on this, please understand that a 3.5 is a game that I genuinely enjoyed. And if you're asking me for a recommendation, I recommend you check out all the games I rated higher than a 3.5 before you touch the 3.5s. Caveat, unless you want the 3.5 for some reason or another, again, all the things I already said. There's many, many good games available out there. You have to make hard choices. Every single day, and in every single way, you have to make hard choices. And that's why a 3.5 is not a recommendation. I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you found this helpful in some sense as you navigate the endless amount of content that I will show you on this channel. It is my most common rating for a reason, because most games are good, and most games are not the games I'm going to rave about. Both things are true. Until next time, I hope you have a good one.